The Sandy Struggle Tempest event is coming soon as part of the second summer banner, and we'll be going over all the rewards you can get. If you score the maximum 50,000 points, you can get up to 42 orbs, 11,000 feathers, and 80 sacred coins. Since we are in July and update 4.7 is released, we now have Ephemer's 7 divine codes. You can get 50 of those in this event. The blessing for this time is an Earth blessing to match Legendary Sella from last month. As for our sacred seals, this time you can get Mirror Strike and Spd and Res solo. Our reward unit is Summer Lorenz, and you can get a 4-star and 5-star copy. We'll talk about how you can use him later on. First, let's discuss our sacred seals. For Mirror Strike 2, if unit initiates combat, grants +4 attack and res during combat. Very simple player phase skill. It's useful if you're looking to take less damage from mages, dragons, or healers when you attack into them. For maximum magical damage protection, you can use Mirror Strike with Mirror Impact, and together that's going to get you +10 attack and +14 res when initiating. Lots of safety with that combo. Since Mirror Strike only has 2 tiers, it only requires 1 upgrade, which is nice. It's a decent skill, and it's really up to you if you want an extra res instead of, say, extra speed or defense. We do have Swift Sparrow and Sturdy Blow seals already. Our second sacred seal is Spd and Res Solo 3. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, grants +6 speed and res during combat. Oh boys, we are actually getting solo A skills as sacred seals. This is actually pretty big because, like bond skills, solo skills grant a lot of stats with a relatively easy activation condition. You just have to be away from any allies, and most maps are open enough to allow this a lot of the time. Solo skills can work on both phases, which is really important too, and for 8th raids, being able to get a large amount of stats and keep distance from teammates is valuable if you have a main frontline tank. You also avoid the many skills that punish you for being next to a teammate, like a Versus Tome, Sabotage debuffs, or Sudden Panic. Suffice to say, having that solo status isn't much of a downside, although obviously on tight maps, you may not always be able to avoid social distancing. In terms of builds, solo sacred seals are going to be extremely strong for some units. We have the solo A skills, so you can stack so many extra stat bonuses by being alone. Then there are the round C skills, which are self-buffing skills that only work if the unit starts the turn not adjacent to an ally. Pretty much the perfect C skill if you want even more stats and are going to be focusing on being a loner anyway. There are definitely a good amount of units that would love Spd and Res solo. The 2 Fallen Corins are going to be so annoying if they are by themselves. They can basically have triple solo type abilities going for a super raid boss build. The original female Corin with her new Refine could also benefit since she is somewhat fast, and extra res helps with her annoying attack debuffs. The units I'm definitely expecting to see with this seal are going to be the super fast close call and repel users. Marita is a prime example. She comes with attack and speed solo and close call by default, and her sword also has a solo ability built into it as well. You just send her off on her own and it's going to be really scary. If you refine Fallen Celica's beloved Zofia, she would be another scary close call user with this sacred seal. She becomes super fast with a ton of other bonus stats, has damage reduction, and has built-in healing too. Overall, assuming we get more solo sacred seals down the road, these are definitely going to become high priority seals to upgrade. Obviously they're not going to work for every unit and every build, but their popularity in the A slot should easily transfer over.
A tropical retreat! Lovely! Let it never be said the Order fails to pamper its heroes.
Our reward unit for this Tempest Trials is Summer Lorenz. He's going to be the one representing the Golden Deer for our 3 Houses Summer banner. As a unit, Lorenz is going to be a raid infantry mage. He has 45 HP, 32 attack, 31 speed, 25 defense, and 29 resistance. 45 HP will tie Henry for highest base HP stat out of all mages, but with no boons, Lorenz won't be at the very top. Besides very high HP though, the rest of Lorenz's stats are in a strange spot. 32 attack is actually not that bad, but 31 speed is pretty middling, 25 defense is amazing, and 29 res is okay, but also not outstanding. The good news is that you can build toward pretty much any stat you want. However, for those not looking to go all out on premium skills or merges, Lorenz is going to be a rather awkward mage to use. He won't have any obvious build paths or playstyles, and he definitely has a lot of other free-to-play competition. We'll talk more about that later. For his weapon, Lorenz has the Conch Bouquet Plus. It's a 12-might tome that has the same effect as the other inheritable weapons on this summer banner. During units' first combat in player or enemy phase, grants +5 attack and res, and restores 7 HP after combat. So fortunately for Lorenz, at least he can make decent use of this weapon. Extra attack is always nice, and at least he does have a decent res stat. At the very least, it's not 16 like Sylvain. As for the extra HP, that's also not bad for a unit with very high base HP, since the whole point of these weapons are to keep fights to 1 per phase. Having high HP but lower defense and res is actually okay. If you want to take multiple fights, then you probably want extra defense and res to reduce more damage. For the most part, I'm still a little iffy on these weapons, but I do think there are some uses for them. For the rest of Lorenz's base kit, he comes with Pivot because a Noble always leads the charge. As for his A skill, Lorenz comes with the Niche Fire Boost 3. If Lorenz has more than 3 HP than his opponent, then he gets plus 6 attack during combat. With high base HP, at least this skill can work for Lorenz, and it can work on both phases, which is good with the Conch Bouquet since that also works on both phases. The main downside to the boost skills is that any damage you take immediately starts lowering their chances to proc, and in high-end PvE content, all the enemies have 50 to 60 plus HP, so they end up being useless most of the time. That being said, Conch Bouquet grants 7 HP after that first fight per phase, so I mean at least there's some synergy there. I actually have been experimenting with Wind Boost in Arena, and it's actually not that bad, but there are those times where it's like, boy, I wish my skill wasn't completely useless. Moving on, Lorenz also has Even Res Wave as his C skill, which grants plus 6 res to the user and adjacent allies every even number turn, another decent skill, and also works with the Conch Bouquet, which has that extra res. Overall, definitely not the most fire-based kit ever, but at least there is some inherent synergy between all these skills. Lorenz can get up to a plus 11 attack and res, so that could be a starting point for making a build. If you do want to merge Lorenz up, he will get plus 1 HP and plus 1 attack on his first merge. With the neutral nature, he's going to get another plus 1 HP, attack, and speed, so not bad overall. With plus 10 merges, Lorenz will at least have decent stats in every category. For comparisons, as mentioned, Lorenz has a lot of competition if you want a free-to-play red infantry mage. You could say he's a much faster version of Leon with only slightly less attack, defense, and res. I would also say he's kinda a successor to Canis with 4 less res but way more HP to work with. Having middling stats except for HP generally isn't seen as impressive, but we do have skills that work off of high HP stats. Unfortunately, we just got Iago, whose unique tome is similar to Aversa in that it provides very annoying debuffs if Iago wins the HP comparison with opponents. Even though Lorenz has more base HP, he doesn't have a weapon that already rewards building for high HP skills. If you wanted to use skills like Sudden Panic, Panic Ploy, Infantry Pulse, or the even or odd pulse tie skills, then I would suggest just using Iago instead. He can provide a lot of other benefits to the team without getting his hands dirty, whereas Lorenz is gonna have to fight to earn his keep. Now if we are focusing on fighting, then Lorenz isn't in the worst spot. Even though he spends a lot of points into HP, he does keep up with everyone else for the most part. He's not super slow, and his defense and res are both alright. Unfortunately, almost everyone else has unique weapons here, and being a Tempest Trials unit means to fully plus 10 Lorenz, he's going to be much more expensive than a Grand Hero Battle unit. We can't exactly do anything about that. Now for builds, we can do some weird things with the Conch Bouquet. If you want to use Fire Boost, then maybe consider using it with Savage Blow. That can help Lorenz chip down other enemies to keep Conch Bouquet active later on. If we aren't going to do anything about speed, then for a budget option, you could use a breaker skill like Green Tome Breaker or Axe Breaker. Green Tome Breaker would give Lorenz some enemy phase doubles as well. While going for a double fire boost would be fun, I would instead suggest using good old Death Blow as a Sacred Seal, and you can also use it in the A slot too. With 3 attack boosting skills, including the Conch, at least Lorenz can get a solid hit in, even if he's only going to attack one time. Now if you want to play for the enemy phase, then Quick Riposte is always there, and you can pair it with the stance skills and distant defense. The healing from Conch Bouquet might be able to squeeze an extra usage out of Quick Riposte. If you do want to build for speed, then you could try out Fury. As long as you only fight once per phase, the healing from Conch Bouquet will cancel out Fury's recoil damage, and Lorenz can make use of the all-around stat boost. Additionally, we can use the new Speed and Res Solo Sacred Seal since that's a big boost in speed and also works for either phase. Add in Speed Smoke to help further out, and maybe even consider using Mystic Boost for more healing. Lorenz could also use the extra benefit of stopping adaptive damage from dragons, so that at least helps him tank their attacks better. Overall, I don't think the Conch Bouquet is a super strong inheritable weapon, but it is different, and I appreciate it bringing new ways to play the game. If you want some other inheritable weapons, then Lorenz could be an okay user of the Owl Tome or the Laurel Wreath from Valentine's Titania. Both of these weapons grant a bonus to all stats if you're next to an ally, with the Owl Tome having bigger potential, but requires 2 or more adjacent allies to beat out the Laurel Wreath. We are kinda stealing Canis' niche here, but Lorenz has a lot of HP to work with, which is nice since we can just focus on boosting whatever stat we want. For this playstyle, we have to obviously stay with the team, so bonds and form skills are quite good here. If you do want to get Lorenz's speed stat to a respectable amount, then low attack and speed might be a nice pickup. Alternatively, we can roll with the Link B skills and swap to self-buff Lorenz. You have a lot of stat variations to choose from, but if you want some easier to get variants, I would recommend Speed and Res Bond from Tethys, Speed and Res Form from Wrath, and Speed and Defense Link from Norn. For Sacred Seals, we have a lot of bonds, so take your pick, and you can even use a stance skill like Sturdy Stance or Swift Stance. If you're looking for something simpler, Lorenz can be a decent Raven Tome mage. His defense and res are in okay spots if you use Triangle Depth, and he can use that big HP pool to tank a lot of hits. There is also the Red Serpent Tome, which has built-in distant defense, and the Fox Tome is an offensive option. Hubert is on the Tempest Trials banner, so now would be the time to try and get a hold of the Red Fox Tome if you want to give it a try. For this Tempest Trials, the main attraction is probably the introduction of the solo Sacred Seals. These are definitely going to be very popular because of their big stat boost and the fact that they work on both phases. They also have strong build options by stacking with the solo A skills and using the Rouse C skill buffs. As for Summer Lorenz, he will definitely need some investment to stand out. He has high HP, but as we mentioned, if you want to use it for activating skills, then Iago is available with his unique tome, and Aversa also exists just as a flying red mage. The Conch Bouquet is an interesting weapon, and Lorenz can use the extra stats decently. Most players probably won't use it very often because they only work once per phase, but you can work around that, and they can synergize with skills like Fury, Mystic Boost, or even Fire Boost. In terms of builds, Lorenz has the ability to spec toward any stat you want. He doesn't specialize in any one playstyle, so just as a free 5-star mage, he kind of feels a little lackluster. Honestly, most people probably aren't going to use him, but if you like the man and want to use him, then go right ahead. That's all for this video. Go and get those Tempest Trials rewards, and I'll be back one more time to talk about the Ephemeris 7 combat manuals. I'll see you guys then.